the web introduction to web development class. So here we're going to achieve, these are the objective of this practical class. So the first one here is to create simple HTML where we create your navigation bar, right? So setting up the blueprints for each module. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. The introduction to Jinja templates. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Then how can be able to create master page and then extended page. And then lesson two, we'll talk more of the CSS cascading style sheet, how to beautify our navigation bar and our body content, right? So we all know that HTML has to do with the markup, hypertext markup language, right? So let's start with how the basic HTML document. Remember in our previous video, we have defined the basic HTML document here, right? So now let me just explain what this tool does, right? You can see the first one, we have the meta cast set UTF-8, right? So this is a type of character encoding that allows the page to display a wide range of characters, including tables, including letters from different languages, right? Letters from different languages, symbols or emojis, right? So now this line here, it allows this web application on this page to detect the device and then make it responsive, right? It makes it responsive. So now we have the header, which I've explained. Remember the title here, we're going to make this title dynamic so that when I click on the hyperlink of the faculty, right, it takes me to the faculty page and the title the title will change to faculty. That's what I'm going to achieve here. So now I'm going to remove this H1 tag, right? Welcome to web development. So I'm going to start creating my navigation bar. So the first I will have is my header, right? So I will have my nav, which is a navigation. So I will have my the unordered list, right? I will have my list, then I will have my anchor, which will aid us to link to the faculty page. So we have the faculty, right? So inside the hyperlink, we have what we call the H, right? The ref. So the ref will allow us to link through. So I'll put hash for now because we're not linking them yet. So I will copy this. I will change this to department. Remember, we have the department module. I'll change this to program. I'll change this to, okay, let me copy this. We have the level, we have the course, we have the group, we have the students, then we have the assigned student to group. Okay, that is all for now, right? So that is all for now. You can see all these are all links. So let's try to run this. So I'll go to my terminal, new terminal. So remember by default, when you click on your terminal, it doesn't actually activate your environment automatically. So you'll be the one to manually activate it by putting the name of your environment, scripts, then activate. Right. So I run this with py because py is where all our applications be configured to run the entire application. Right. So I'll go to my stuff here, then I will type. Oh, I'll go to my stuff here. Then I will type one two the URL so you can see how it is. Though despite it's not that beautiful because we have not actually used CSS to beautify it, right? So, but let's leave it like this for now, right? Now, next video, we'll try to beautify this to make it look finer. But we have already structured it using the HTML, right? So the CSS is just to add class to it, right? So I will teach you guys the external styling, the inline styling, right? Then the internal styling. I can be able to then which one is the best approach to follow. So so now next thing I will do, let's look at the slide now. So we have understood HTML. So now we need to introduce you guys to Jinja template. Now Jinja is a powerful templating engine for Python that integrates seamlessly with Flask, allowing you to create dynamic web pages. Now with Jinja, you can render HTML page with dynamic content, making your web application more interactive and responsive to user input. Now, if you have not done this practical, right, so looking at this theory may be hard for you to understand. So what we'll do in this video is we need to show you guys how we can be able to use Jinja template to define blocks. In other, how we can use Jinja template to define the title, the dynamic title, and then creating the master page and the extended pages using the Jinja template. You see how we'll do that here. All right. So that's what we'll do here. So now we have our header. So I will close this. So we have I will call this because I will later write a class. I will later write a class to define this, right? So let me just call it, let me call it div, right? Let me call it div. Just for now, let me call it div. Okay, now inside this div, right? I want other HTML, other modules, right, to inherit from this page here, right? So what I will do is using the Jinja template in Flask, I will have what we call the braces like this, then the percentage like this, two, the front and the back, right? In the middle of the percentage, you can see I space it. So in the middle, I will have what I call the block content, the block content, okay, like this. So I will end the block content like this, end block, right? So now let's define the title. So I want my title to be dynamic. So when I click on any page, right? When I click on the faculty, when I click on this link, right? Then it will show faculty. When I click on department, it shows department. So I have to do the same. I have to do a field by this percentage, then have my block head, then close the percentage like this, then open, then end block. Okay, so I will leave it like this, right? So now this page I'm designing here is the master page. So before we look more further, let's really understand what master page is, right? So don't worry about the blueprint, we'll set that up later. Let's just look what master page is. Now in Flask, the concept of a master page refers to a base template that serves as the foundation for other pages in your application. Now let's explain this so that you guys can understand what it means. Now let me use this to explain it. Let me use it brown. Let me use this for instance. You can see these, right? Now what we are trying to do, we're trying to create a master page that will have the navbar like this, and also that will have the footer like this. You can see this page here. Almost all web pages you see online, right? The standard format is we have a base template, then every other template here inherits from the base template. Like if you click on block, for instance, if you click on block, you will see that if you notice when you're browsing, right, when you're browsing through an application, web application online, if you click on a link here, let's say we click on block, this navbar doesn't change, right? Then the footer doesn't change. Now, because the footer and the header, right? This is the header. The footer and the header are located in the base class. What changes is the body, right? Now, this body are the modules, let me just call the modules or other HTML files that is inheriting from the master page or the based page or the base template. Do you get it? So when I click on this navbar doesn't change, but this will change the block because it's the body. When I click on themes, this will remain, it will change. Yeah, this will change, but this remain, the footer remains. So the essence of really doing that, so that we'll not end up having this on each of every template, HTML template we create, right? So we'll just have one, then every other one will be inheriting from that one. That's what we call the based HTML, and that's what we are setting up here, right? So these are our header, although we have not defined our footer, but let me just define it. But later we write the CSS class for that. So let me just define footer, right? Footer, right? Let me just put paragraph, right? So let me put 9 university software engineering student, right? Okay, let's say okay, let me just leave it like this. This is the footer. Now this footer remains, the header remains. You can see this block content, end block. This is where we are going to put all the, this is where all the extended files will be inheriting from. So let's see how it works. We have successfully defined our master page like this. Now master page have a header and a footer, and also the body content or the block content that every other page will be inheriting from, right? So now let's start with the faculty. Let's start with the faculty. Remember the faculty has a template. So if I click, I will call, let's have a HTML file called list faculty.html. So this list faculty, what we will do is it will be showing all the faculty records in our database, right? It will be showing all the faculty records. So we'll define that later, but I just want to structure it and see how it works, right? So now list faculty.html, right? So I've opened it, right? It's open now. List faculty.html is open. So now this list faculty.html will be an extended class that will be inheriting from the base class. The base They'll be inheriting from the base HTML. Let me use HTML class. They'll be inheriting from the base HTML, which is index.html. So how do we do that? We do this percentage, right? Like this. The extends, right? Extends. So inside this, I'm going to write the index.html, right? So I'll close this, right? So this is done. So then I'll put my block body, my block content, my block content. I'll close it, right? So then I will end block. Okay. Now let's do something. I have my H1 to have welcome to faculty list, right? So now what we've done here, you can see this extend HTML. It means that it's inheriting the header page. You can see it's inheriting this header page and this footer page, right? So the faculty page, right? Everything we design the faculty will fall inside within this block content here, right? So when we click on the faculty page here, when we click on the faculty link here, right? So the faculty will appears on inside this block content. That's why we have the base, that's what we call the base template and the extended template, right? So instead of us having the navigation bar and the footer again in the list faculty and keep on repeating them in all modules here, so why not just create a base class and then create a body, then create all HTML to inherit from the base template, right? So that's what we did here. So now there's one thing we're also going to do here. Remember that this block content is dynamic, right? This block, okay, it's block, sorry, not block content, but block title, not block head, but block title, right? It's block title. Sorry. Oh, it's block title like this. What am I doing? Block title like this. So when I copy this, what I'll do, I'll just copy this. I'll go to my list faculty, right? So maybe on the after this extend, I'll just paste it here and I'll just write faculty list. So when I click if on the base HTML, right? When I click on faculty, right, it takes me to this place and then it will show faculty list on the browser head like this. So that is how it works, right? That is how the blog title works. Why the blog content, when I click on faculty, it show welcome to faculty, the navigation bar and the footer will come up because this is inheriting from the index of the HTML, right? It's just so simple, right? So now let's move forward. We have understood what the master class is, we have understood what the extended class is. You can see I've not started much design yet, but you can see how I'm setting this up. So the next thing we'll do here, we're going to look at what we call the blueprint. We're going to set up the blueprint, right? So, now introduction to the blueprint setup. Now, I remember I said that in this class I will explain this ini.py. So I'll explain what the ini.py because this is the script we're going to use to set up, right, our blueprint. right? So the ini.py file marks a directory as a Python package. So think of your Flask app like a house, and each part of your app, like roots, views, like the view we created, like all the models we created, right, is like a different room in that house. So the ini.py file is like the entrance to each of these rooms. It's like a way of telling Python, hey, this folder is a room or module and should be treated as part of the whole house, right? So now the in.py file is actually the first script that gets executed when Python imports a package and module. So this is where we're going to set up the essence of which is setting up the ini.py file here is because so that these flags we understand that each of these modules have a template files, right? So that each of the modules will look up to the static file here, the global static file, where the HTML, the CSS, where the CSS, the JavaScript, and also we can include the image files here, image folder here, maybe later in the future, later as we move on here in this lecture. So that we these your files here we easily look up to this static folder, right? So now let's set up the blueprint in the faculty module. So this is the ini.py, right? So I will import from Flask, import the blueprint, right? This is a blueprint, and then I will give this faculty blueprint a name. So let's call it, let me just call it faculty BP, right? Then I will call the blueprint, right? I will call it. So I will okay. Then the name of the blueprint, which is faculty, right? So this will enable the flags to identify this blueprint right in this folder here, which is its name. So have my template folder. We should be looking at the template, right? So the next one, okay. Then I will have the other one, which will be looking at the static, the static folder, which will be looking at the static. Okay, so I'm done with setting up this. So what this does from the app.faculty, from this app folder, right? This faculty module, right? I'm going to import the views because this is where we're going to define all our functional requirements, right? That is why I'm importing it, right? So that the blueprint, which we have registered here, can be able to identify that each of these module has a view which all the functional requirements will define in, right? So now we can see I've done that for the inner.py, right? So I will go to my view. Remember, the view contains the functional requirements. So in this place here, we're going to just write a simple function. So let's go to our PowerPoint slide. We have understood what Flask introduction to child page. We understood the child page. We understood the master page. So let's understand the routing. Now in Flask, routing refers to the process of mapping URLs to the specific functions in your application. So each route defines a URL that the application responds to. So when a user visits the URL, Flask calls the corresponding view function to join the response, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to write a function to route to this list faculty.html, right? So the first thing I will do here is from Flask, right? So import, I can do import star. It means that you're importing all the functions you need inside this Flask extension too, right? So now we need to import um we need to import the blueprint, right? We need to import the blueprint from the ini.py, right? Remember we're in the view.py now. So we have already done this, we have already set this up, right? So we need to import this ini.py. So what we'll do here is from the app, means from this app folder, right? From this app folder, you can see it. Remember it's case sensitive. You can see from this app folder dot the faculty. So import, right? import what we're importing in this ini.py is this faculty BP, right? So import faculty, you just see it comes up automatically, faculty BP, right? So because these are blueprints, this is what we use to route in this faculty page, right? So I will have my decorator, then this is the blueprint, right? Dot route, right? So you have a single quote here. So I'll put a slash. So what do we call this? Let's call it faculty list, right? In next video, I will teach you guys CSS. In the following next video, in other lessons, I will teach you guys method, right? The method that has to do with the get, post, put, and delete. I'll teach you guys that. But for now, just leave it like this. So now under this route, there's a function to execute. So let's assume that the function name is get faculty list. Get faculty list. Now there is an action word, right? Get faculty list. So there's no parameter. So what we are returning, return render template. So this render template is actually to redirect to this a particular HTML page in a particular file. So render template, then I'm redirecting to this list faculty.html. List faculty.html. Okay. Now you can see how it works. We have written a function. So when I route this, right, it looks the function under it and executes it. So the function that is saying that, okay, navigate to this, right? So let me explain this again. Remember the ini.py set up the blueprint. This is the blueprint. You can see this is the name, the variable name, the blueprint name, right? It's the variable name that holds this. So you can see this faculty here. Remember, it's case sensitive, should be in the same name of your faculty folder. This is the name that tells the flags that, okay, now this faculty blueprint has a template file, right? And also the template file should look up to the static file. Okay, it's not static, but static. The static file that contains CSS and a JavaScript. So remember that we are all writing just one CSS and JavaScript inside the static file, right? So we are calling every other pages here, modules will look up to the static file here. So, but each of the modules have their own template file, right? So now you can see now for the view.py, we have defined this, right? So now what I will do now, I will copy this function, get faculty list, right? I'll copy it, then I will go to our base HTML page, right? So now I will remove this. So now there are different ways to write the link, the hyperlink, right? So here in Python, right, what we'll do here, you can see double braces like this. We have the URL for, right? Then you can see open and close. You can see. Then I'll put this, right? So now I'm calling the function that is located in the faculty module. So what I will do here is I'll write the faculty module, which is faculty. Remember, it must be the same name, dot, then the name of the function, which is get faculty list inside this view.py. You can see what I did here, right? So when I click on faculty, it will take me to the faculty. It will take me to get faculty list, and get faculty list automatically is inside here, which will show this root faculty list in this browser here to show it slash faculty list. You see how it works, right? So now you can see, just follow up this video so it won't be lost. Everything is taking one. See, I'm taking everything step by step. So now we are done with the blueprint. Let's move forward. So starting from this video, we have seen how we can create navigation bar. We have set up the blueprint. We have introduced you guys to the Jinja templates where we define blocks. We have created a master page, and we have created a extended page, which is we did for faculty module, right? Which is inheriting from the index.html, which is the master page or the base template, right? So I think then what we do now is to register our blueprint. That's the last thing we need to do. Need to register our blueprint, and we register our blueprint in this init folder. Remember, this init folder contains a function called, this is the factory function, right? And this factory function have the root function, which will look up to the index, the base HTML page, right? So now what I'll do inside here, I'm going to import from app dot the faculty, that's from this app folder dot faculty, right? The faculty module, right? So I will import faculty blueprint, right? So I will explain this. So now I have the app.register blueprint, right? I'll open folder, I'll put the faculty blueprint. Now, if I didn't register this, right, definitely that our function will not work. Now I'm registering this in our main global ini.py so that when we execute this application, the application will now understand that there is a module that has the faculty functions or all logical functions inside the view.py. That's why we have, if you open the faculty, that's why here we have the from app.faculty import view. So all the functions here, the Flask application, we know that okay, the functional requirements of faculty are written in here, which is a view.py. So we have so many functions here like the insert, update, delete, or everything will be written in here. You can see how simple it is, right? So now let's run our application, right? And see how what it gave us. So I have the pie, right? So when I open this, let me okay, encounter error tag block. So let's find out this. Okay, this is block title and block. So this is block content. So what is the error here? Unknown tag block. So it's telling us that this unknown tag block. So block content. So let's use lowercase block title, right? So so let's go to the faculty template. Have the block, have the block. Okay. Okay. So it's supposed to be lowercase, not uppercase, right? So you can see our footer here, right? This is our header. So if I click on faculty, you can see what happens. Welcome to faculty list. You can see what happened. Welcome to faculty list. So now University Software Engineering student, welcome to faculty list. So everything we do here, right? Everything we design in the faculty will just come out like this. It will be beautiful when we start applying CSS. Why this header will show here. So let's try do for departments now. Now for to do for departments, right? All I just need to do is to do copy and paste because I've already set up the faculty, right? So I'll just go to the init, I'll copy this, then I'll go to department, right? I'll go to department init, I'll copy this. All I just need to do is to change the blueprint. I'll call this department blueprint, which is BP, then the name of the module, which is department, right? All this remain the same because each of these modules have the static templates file, right? So I'll just change this to department. Then every all module have views, right? So I will go to the view in faculty, right? The view in faculty, I'll copy it. Oh, sorry. Here, I will just copy everything here. Then I will go to the view in department, right? I will paste then just to do some changes. So just to change this department, right? Then change this department BP. Then change this department BP. Then change this maybe to department list, right? Then change this to get department list. Then change this. We haven't built our HTML for it. I'll call this, I'll go to the HTML file inside the department module and then call this list department.html, right? So, okay. So I'll just go to the list faculty.html. I'll copy this and go to the list department.html. So I will just change this to department list, right? So welcome to departments list, right? So now I'm done with the department, right? So what I will need to do is to register the department blueprint on this ini.py, this global ini.py here. So I'll just copy this, right? So I will now have from app.department, right? So the department blueprint, so app, that will register the department blueprint, right? So now the next thing I will do, I will go to my base.html now, So I will have my link. I'll copy this. So I'll just change. Now this will be the department module, which is department, right? Dot the get department list, which is the function, the name of the function. If you go to the department here, if you go to the view, you will see the name of the function get department list, right? So remember we have it's supposed to be list department.html, list list department.html, right? So we are done. Let's run this. Okay. So if I run this, so if I click on faculty, you can see this title here, faculty type list, right? So if I click on department, you can see welcome to department. You can see this doesn't change, the header doesn't change, the footer doesn't change because these are located in the base HTML class or the master class, while the body is inheriting from the master class. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So welcome to department, right? You can see, right? You can see it doesn't change. You can see department list. So that is how you would do for all of them here. You can take up a task, do for program, do for level, course group, this, and then when you click and you see all this changing. So when we come in the next class, we can be able to assign our CSS files to this to make it look finer. So thank you and God bless you. So we have successfully achieved everything in this PowerPoint slide. We achieved our objective. So the next lesson 2B, we're going to be looking at CSS to make our stuff finer and beautiful. Yeah, thank you. God bless you.